Thank you, Gia. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to the 2026 Illinois Works Coaching Needs Assessment Questionnaire webinar. Thank you for taking out time of your busy schedule to join us. And over the next couple of hours, we're going to have an opportunity to complete the Illinois Works Coaching Needs Assessment Questionnaire. The target audience for this program is Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Grantee Program Administrators and Program Managers. Illinois Works is an exciting initiative that creates opportunities for Illinois residents, businesses, communities, and families. Substantial funding has been made available for the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act and its three key programs. Most relevant for the onboarding process is the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program provides extensive professional development to support the success of its grantees, including program coaching. The goal of program coaching is to provide grantees with customized support in the following domains: instructional certification, pre-apprentice life cycle, and business development. Program coaching is a tailored service driven by a comprehensive needs analysis, including the Illinois Works Coaching Needs Assessment Questionnaire. This webinar was designed to assist grantees in completing the Illinois Works Coaching Needs Assessment Questionnaire. So my name is Dr. Carlita Alston, and I am one of the support team members for the professional development team. I help design the content for these types of webinars, especially the one you are watching today. I've been with Illinois Works for 2 years almost, and I want to also introduce my co-presenter today, Dr. Gia Suggs. Dr. Suggs, can you come off mute? Introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome.
Thank you. Also joining me, if someone can please mute the mics, also joining me with virtual support is our virtual producer today, Mr. Shiva Jamula, and also our virtual support will be from Miss Olivia Meisenbach. Please say hello in that order.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, guys. Illinois Works has a team of passionate professionals committed to supporting your pre-apprenticeship program success. The current team consists of Dr. Norman Ruano, who is our Deputy Director for Illinois Works, Mr. Dan Martinez, who is our new Senior Pre-Apprenticeship Program Manager, Ms. Monica Pruitt, Grant Manager, Mr. Edwin Sanchez Molina, Grant Manager, Ms. Shariana Pulse, also a Grant Manager. Our Financial Grant Manager is Mr. Robin Hovey. Our Monitoring Grant Manager is Ms. Sue Ridings. And of course, our PD team, Dr. Jeff Doolittle for instructional design and professional coaching, myself, also Miss Olivia Mazenbach, Mr. Shiva Jamula, and Dr. Gia Suggs. I want to also acknowledge that there's a team accountable for the apprenticeship initiative and a team accountable for the bid credit program, as well as our career services team. And we have one of our leaders from the career services team here today. Can you introduce yourself, Victor?
Sure, thanks, Kalita. My name is Victor Castillo. I'm with the career services team. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor.
You're welcome.
So let's talk about our course objectives for today.
Dr. Alston, one quick second. We also have one of our grant managers in the room. Edwin is with us, so I just wanted to ask you to acknowledge Edwin and invite him to say hello.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. I did not recognize he joined the line. So, Mr. Edwin Sanchez, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. Good morning, everyone. Edwin Sanchez Molina. Pleasure to be here and just listening.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. And so we'll move on to our course objectives. By the end of this training, learners will be able to access the 2026 Grantee Manual, differentiate between professional development and technical assistance, explain the role of a program coach, describe the expectations of the Illinois Works tracks 1, track 2, and track 3, identify the data that will be used to assess program readiness, and accurately complete the Illinois Works Coaching Needs Assessment Questionnaire. Please note that this session is being recorded and will be made available for review at our Illinois Works Partner Guide. The link to the Illinois Works Partner Guide is now being provided for you in the chat. So are there any questions before we proceed to the next section? If so, please feel free to unmute your line and post your question in the chat.
There are currently no questions within the chat.
Thank you, Olivia. So let's move on to our next section. By the end of this section, you'll be able to identify fellow session participants, use the WebEx features and functions to fully participate in the training, and identify what your unique contributions are to Illinois Works as a grantee. Okay, so let's talk about WebEx tutorial. Many of you have been a part of our WebEx meetings, and some of this is already familiar to you. But for those of you who are joining and have not had the opportunity, in order for you to fully engage, let's just review some basic WebEx system functions. First, we have our mute. So if we can click the next link, mute and unmute button. We use this regularly throughout our webinars so that if you have questions, you can certainly unmute yourself or mute yourself when you don't. There's a stop and start video or showing yourself on the screen. Raise hand if there's a question. Emojis, the chat, and our groups. To help facilitate the best experience, please keep your line muted to help manage potential interruptions during the training. The lines can be unmuted during question and answer sessions or group discussions. If you have a comment or a question, please share it in the chat or unmute yourself during that question and answer session at the end of each of the training sections. And so we will try to make some time for those questions to respond to your comments. Thank you. Shiva. If you have further comments, feedback, or questions after this training, you can email us at ceo.illinoisworks@illinois.gov. The link is also being provided for you in the chat. So now we're going to move into Mentimeter. There is a voting link you will see on your multimedia viewer. You will see that on your right-hand side of the screen, a blue button that you can press to continue. Once you press the continue, Mentimeter app will show up in your multimedia viewer pane. The link should be added in the chat for you if you're having difficulty scanning. There's a web link that you can also click, or you can use the Menti code by going to menti.com and accessing it through the 8-digit code. Okay. So moving to the next slide. Let's give people a chance to get connected, but while they're doing that, thank you. Using Mentimeter, please answer the following questions. Your name, your organization or agency, the role that you play in your organization, and your geographic location. Okay, we're starting to get respondents in the room. We have Damian Flores from Hire 360. Welcome, Damian. Lauren Joyce Hansel from Hire 360. Welcome. We have Shubha Khanna. Hi, Shubha. Welcome from Quad. Carrie Thurman. Hi, Carrie. Vanessa Portillo from KLEO. Good morning. Yurizitsi, forgive me if I am not pronouncing these names correctly. I'll do the best that I can. This is from Student Support Services, ASI, Clarissa from EDDR Foundation, Tracy Polson from YBMC, Darius Benton from KLEO, Lita Hines from Center of Innovation, Simon Summers from Chicagoland Prison Outreach Program, good morning. Katrina Henderson from Quad County, good morning. Merrick Niche from Metropolitan Services, Kashmir Crump from Youth Build, Debbie Price from R3 Development, Michael Walton from ASI Services, Victoria Camargo from Higher 360, welcome. Barbara, ASI. We have Xavier Garcia from Quad. Quad is in the house. I can see that. Aaron Ashley from Spark. Victoria Weston from Youth Build. We have Melissa Brown from Eden Career Institute. Welcome, welcome. Renee Jones, good morning. Jabril Barrett from KLEO. Tarana Tools Up Foundation. We have Aisha Riggs from KLEO. KLEO is in the house as well. Jacqueline King from AOE International. Robert Beekman from BFRC. Good morning. Nikki Hayes from KLEO. Good morning. William Diddy from Richland Community College. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for participating and sharing your responses. Let's move on to our next slide in the presentation. Thank you, Chiva. So by now, you should have access to the Illinois, as we get our slide up and going, you should have access to the Illinois Works 2026 Grantee Manual. It is a resource for instructions, guidance, tools, and expectations for program design, implementation, and delivery. Guidance regarding the Illinois Works coaching program is available in Section 9, Professional Development and Technical Assistance, starting on page 170. You can access this resource by using the link that's being provided to you in the chat now. Are there any questions before I move on to the next section?
There are currently no questions asked in the chat.
Very good. Thank you, Olivia. So we're going to move on to Module 3, which is Program Coaching Overview. And by the end of this section, you will be able to differentiate between professional development and technical assistance, describe the Illinois Works Coaching Program, explain the expectations of the 3 tracks, and list the data sources for the program readiness criteria. Next slide, please. So for professional development and technical assistance, grantees must plan to participate in professional development and technical assistance. You may be familiar with the DCEO definition of the term technical assistance, or TA, for all professional development support. However, Illinois Works uses this term in a different way as presented in this session. Professional development is also known as PD, and it is a combination of tools, techniques, and strategies that impact the knowledge, skills, behaviors, and attitudes of grantees. PD programs are implemented with the goal of improving their performance and enabling grantees to successfully implement an Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program, comply with its policies and procedures, and effectively use its technological applications. PD includes structured sessions in person or via WebEx that seek to prevent or mitigate future challenges. Technical assistance, also known as TA, is one-on-one or small group support that aids in course correction. It is the responsibility of each grantee to comply with Illinois Works professional development requirements. In addition, grantees must budget for supplemental development for instructors and program staff as appropriate. PD stipends for mandatory in-person instructor training are permissible, provided that they are reasonable in relation to the time spent and do not exceed instructors' regular pay. For instance, the stipend for a full-day instructor professional development session should not exceed $400, while a half-day session should not exceed $200. Technical assistance is one-on-one or small group interventions with Illinois Works staff that help ensure program fidelity and compliance with the goal of supporting overall success. So let's talk about the difference between coaching versus technical assistance. It is important to clearly differentiate between program coaching and technical assistance. Program coaching is prevention and mitigation, while technical assistance aids with course correction. Program coaching is scheduled regularly, while grantees will be alerted when technical assistance is necessary. Program coaching is primarily proactive, while technical assistance is reactive. And then finally, program coaching is delivered by independent consultants, and technical assistance is delivered by Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program grant managers or other Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program staff. For more information regarding the difference between program coaching and technical assistance, refer to Exhibit 13 in your grantee manual called Program Coaching versus Technical Assistance. It's in your appendix section. Now we'll move on to professional development. To help ensure program success, Illinois Works provides a robust catalog of professional development and technical assistance offerings. For example, webinar sessions like the one you're in today, program coaching, which you will engage in soon, and Toolbox Tuesdays, which is regularly on a month-to-month basis. We do also have a regional meeting. Now, this is a in-person professional development gathering, which is for grantees, staff members, and administrators. These full-day sessions promote networking among grantees, offer training and development sessions focused on the needs of grantees, and provide updates on the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program and IWRS. Location and scheduling details will be available on the Illinois Works Partner Guide, but it typically takes place in the spring. Then there's technical assistance that we offer, and then communities of practice. Now, communities of practice include, but are not limited to Track 3 administrators, transition service coordinators, wraparound service coordinators, trainers and instructors, and data entry coordinators. Community of practice may include required monthly meetings and other technical assistance. We also have an annual conference. Now, this conference is an event that provides an opportunity for industry subject matter experts and Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program grantees to share and exchange ideas, information, experiences, new technologies, and theories, among others, with program attendees to advance a profession or purpose. The Office of Illinois Works hosts the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Annual Conference, which is currently scheduled to take place in the fall of each contract year. The target audience for this event is the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program instructors, staff, administrators, and their partners. Conference session focus on topics that build the capacity of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program grantees and advance the mission of the Illinois Works program. Topics may include, but are not limited to, delivering trauma-informed care, addressing sexual harassment on work sites, creating an equitable program culture, leveraging program data to improve program outcomes, to more targeted sessions based on grantee feedback. To learn more about these offerings and the onboarding sessions, see Table 19, Table 20, and Table 21 of your 2026 Grantee Manual starting on page 167. The Illinois Works Partner Guide provides information regarding program dates, times, and registration. And a link to the Partner Guide is now being provided to you in the chat. So let's continue with professional development. Grantees are required to ensure appropriate staff participate in each of the professional development opportunities, as well as ensure there are appropriate budget line items to support participation. For example, Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Annual Conference and Regional Meeting attendances. This includes program coaching. Program coaching is a tailored engagement between a professional program coach and a grantee. This opportunity allows grantees to receive individually tailored support with the goal of mitigating or preventing program challenges and proactively supporting program success. Coaches are not programmatic staff and cannot assist grantees with program delivery. So we'll talk about program coaching domains. The goal of program coaching is to provide grantees with customized support in the following domains: instructional certifications. So in this one, the primary focus of the instructional certification coaching is to ensure grantees have certified instructors on or before the start of their instruction in each certification area, and that they have requirements in place related to the curriculum they have chosen, and that grantees use and follow the curriculum policies, procedures, and technologies. Another domain is the pre-apprenticeship life cycle. The primary focus of the program coaching is to guide and support the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program grantees through a strategically planned and carefully implemented program that will specifically address the needs of grantees' targeted population. And then the third domain is business development. And the primary focus of the business development coaching is to provide real-time solution-oriented support in specific areas of organizational development. The Illinois Works coaching domains address approximately 30 coaching needs. Now, if you would like more information about these domains, they can be seen in Table 22 called Coaching Domains, which is available on page 173 in your grantee manual. So grantees will be assessed for program readiness. Grantee track designations will be the result of a comprehensive needs analysis process that considers the available information resulting from the NOFO and contracting process. Renewal grantees will have an additional benefit of their previous year's performance outcomes to help inform their track designations. The needs analysis produces red flags, which are warning signals that indicate a potential performance concern. Now, the needs analysis document and information sources may include, but may not be limited to, internal controls questionnaire, which we call the ICQ, DCEO programmatic risk assessment, NOFO reviewers application evaluation scoring sheets and notes, Illinois Works Coaching Needs Assessment Questionnaire, which you will be engaging with today, per the direction of Illinois Works Deputy Director, monthly compliance reports for renewal grantees only, and prior year performance outcomes for renewal grantees only. In addition, Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program considers program development, longevity, capacity, and experience relevant to construction and the building trades. Now, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program retains the right to update or change the above criteria for track designations at its discretion. Once the information from each of the data sources has been analyzed, the track designation for the grantee is established, either a track 1, a track 2, or a track 3. Now, you can find more information about track descriptions in Table 23, which is located on page 175 of the 2026 Grantee Manual. Professional development and coaching is important. So once the information from each of the data sources has been analyzed, the track designation for the grantee is established for either of those tracks. Accompanied with their track designation, grantees will, number one, track 1 grantee will receive an internal professional development plan. A track 2 grantee will receive a coaching plan, and a track 3 will receive a coaching plan. More information regarding the expectations of each track designation is available on Table 23 under Track Descriptions. There is some fluidity with regards to the track designation, though most tracks will remain static. It is possible for a grantee to experience a change in their track based on their program performance. Additional detailed guidance regarding the Illinois Works program coaching is available starting on page 177. For more information about the internal professional development plan, see template number 20, Sample Internal Development Plan, which is available in the appendix of your 2026 Grantee Manual. A little bit more about track designations. So let's dig a little deeper into what track one has to share. Though there may be exceptions, Track 1 grantees are typically experienced at delivering construction and/or building trades pre-apprenticeship programs with robust staffing infrastructure, including strong formal partnerships or contractor-vendor relationships. Grantees with this designation will receive recommendations with relevant support resources to be added to their internal professional development plan. Though coaching is not required, Track 1 grantees have the option to opt in to coaching for a maximum of 10 hours per month while retaining their Track 1 designation. Now, track designations are not static, as we said before. A change in track designation can occur, but is not limited to if the grantee is underperforming, goes on a corrective action plan, it is or is put on a probation or as directed by the deputy director. Now, the Track 2, though there may be some exceptions, Track 2 grantees are typically new to delivering construction and/or building trades pre-apprenticeship programs, or do not have a robust staffing infrastructure to effectively respond to the expectations of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program. Given this, they may need support identifying partners, contractors, vendors, or building an internal infrastructure to deliver the required services. Grantees with this designation will receive a comprehensive coaching plan based on the coaching needs that emerged based on the results of the needs analysis. Track 2 grantees are contractually required to participate in program coaching for a maximum of 10 coaching hours per month. Track 3 Accelerator Program. Grantees in this designation will receive a comprehensive coaching plan based on the coaching needs that emerged as a result of the needs analysis. In addition, Track 3 grantees will receive substantial technical assistance, financial support, and resources to support their success. Their performance will be monitored bi-weekly, and the intensity of the support needed will be adjusted accordingly. Track 3 accelerator grantees are contractually required to participate in program coaching for a minimum of 10 hours and up to 20 hours a month. If additional coaching is required, a determination will be made at the discretion of the Illinois Works Deputy Director. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program Accelerator Program had its debut in 2024, the 2024 grant year, with the specific focus of providing substantial technical assistance, financial support, and resources to workforce development organizations that have applied and were awarded the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program grants. To qualify for this program, organizations had to enter the grantee network as a new grantee through the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program Notice of Funding Opportunity, which we call the NOFO, and had to be designated by the Illinois Works as a Track 3 Accelerator grantee when offered funding. Some renewal organizations may also be designated Track 3 Accelerator grantees based on their program performance. The Accelerator program lasts for the first year of a grantee's grant award, with a primary goal of building capacity for workforce development organizations that are seeking to expand their impact in the construction pre-apprenticeship program space, but may lack the knowledge and experience to do so. Grantees who do not graduate from the Accelerator program at the end of the first year may remain in the program for another year. However, they must graduate by the end of the second year or risk their funding for the program not being renewed another year. To ensure sustainable growth and participant success, these grantees will be limited to serving no more than 30 participants in their initial year and will be closely monitored by their assigned Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Grant Manager. The Accelerator program also offers these organizations additional support, including weekly Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program coaching and monthly one-on-ones with the grant managers, in addition to existing Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Professional Development offerings. These organizations will also periodically connect with the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program grantee mentors, which will offer experiential advice on their organization's success, along with monthly support group meetings. In addition to support from Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship's program staff, and coaches, members of the Accelerator program will be offered an increased capital advance up to 20% of the full grant award and an increased per participant amount of up to $1,300 per participant. Increased funds are extended to address foundational program costs. This program was launched as a pilot in the 2024 grant year and is subject to internal evaluation from DCEO and the Office of Illinois Works to determine its continuity. More information about the tracks is available in Table 23. Required coaching. Program coaching is required by the Office of Illinois Works for Track 2 and 3 grantees and provides an opt-in option for Track 1 grantees. Coaches are not coaches are not programmatic staff. They are consultants instead and do not assist grantees with program delivery. Program coaching is tailored engagement between a professional coach and the grantee. So this opportunity allows grantees to receive individually tailored support with the goal of mitigating these and preventing program challenges, proactively supporting the program's success. Program coaching is driven by a needs analysis and coaching plan. Approximately 75% of coaching support is proactive and 25% is reactive. The Illinois Works program coaching partners with individual grantees to help ensure program success in alignment with their Illinois Works grant expectations. Illinois Works grantees are contractually required to comply with coaching expectations. The goal of program coaching is to provide grantees with customized support in the following domains: instructional certification, life cycle, and business development. As we mentioned earlier, you can find this information in your Table 22 coaching domains starting on page 173. This session is designed to assist. We can move on to the next slide, Shiva. This session is designed to assist you in completing your Illinois Works Coaching Needs Questionnaire. The Illinois Works Coaching Needs Questionnaire is a tailored companion tool to the Illinois Works Coaching Domains. It is a grantee self-assessment tool that translates grantee responses into coaching needs that correspond with the coaching domains. You should have received a copy of your Coaching Needs Assessment Questionnaire via email. Ideally, you will partner with appropriate program staff to provide the most accurate and up-to-date responses. The completed questionnaire will be due to the Illinois Works staff on or before March the 12th. And now we'll ask, are there any questions before we move on to the next session?
Good morning, Dr. Carletta. This is Robert from Bethel Family Resource Center. Thanks for the information. Could you repeat that date for the due date for the Coaching Needs Assessment Questionnaire, please?
Absolutely. The completed questionnaire will be due to the Illinois Works staff on or before March the 12th. All right, if there are no questions in the chat and no other questions, I'd like to turn this over to Dr. Gia Suggs for the Illinois Works Grantee Coaching Needs Assessment Tool.
Carlita, right before we pass this over, there are 2 questions that just popped up in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so Melissa Brown just asked, when will we receive the questionnaire?
The questionnaires were sent out. You should have received it. Maybe you can check your spam account to see if it went into spam, but you should have received it.
And then we have a second question that also kind of jumps off the first, saying, if we haven't received this document, should we contact our grant manager?
If you have not received the document, I'm going to go out on a limb on this one and see if we can do a document transfer at some point during the presentation, but I will defer that to the person giving the presentation, and that will be Dr. Gia Suggs.
All right, that is all of the questions that are in the chat.
Thank you, Olivia.
All right, thank you, Olivia. Thank you, Dr. Alston. And I will be covering Module 4, Illinois Works Grantee Coaching Needs Assessment Questionnaire. By the end of this session, you will be able to actually complete your grantee coaching needs assessment questionnaire. As Carlita shared, an email would have come from my email address this morning. She recommended that you check perhaps your junk in your email. Sometimes those communications don't come directly into your inbox. They end up in your junk mail. So you can check there to see if if you can locate it. We will do a file transfer in just a moment. So you will actually be able to download the assessment from your desktop, but we'll do that in just a moment. I do want to share with you that this assessment has 86 closed-ended questions that are divided into 16 sections. The reason why we do this is because we received feedback from grantees like you saying that they were unable to answer some of the questions because either the terminology, the concept, or the guidance was new to them. And so they didn't feel like they could accurately respond because they didn't have the full context. And so they recommended that we actually offer a session that assisted grantees with completing the needs assessment. So that is actually why we do this now. So for those of you who inquired about accessing the needs assessment, if you did not find it in your email, we will do a file transfer now. So Shiva is actually going to make the needs assessment available to you on your screen. Now, I do want to caution you, it depends on your technology. So if you have a phone or if you are attending on some tablets, this file transfer feature may not work for you. But for the others, it actually should. So you will see a black box pop up on your screen. It will say file transfer. And Shiva, if we could go to the next slide, hopefully that won't make the file transfer box go away. And it will show you what it will look like on the screen. So this is what it will look like. This one is white, but it may be black depending on your screen settings. And then if you click on it and then hit download, you will see two documents. There is a Word version and a PDF version of the questionnaire. For those who did not find it in their email, are you able to do the file transfer download? Olivia, are there any comments or questions in the chat?
There are no comments or questions in the chat as of now.
Okay. And for those who needed it, were you able to do the download or locate it in your email? You can just put yes in the chat. Any comments, Olivia?
We are getting a few yeses in the chat now.
Okay, fantastic. I think I'll go ahead and move on. If you did not transfer it, just drop a note in the chat again. Olivia will alert Shiva and he can actually pull it back up again one more time to make sure everyone had an opportunity to access it. Okay, so 16 sections. We're going to go through all of them. The first one is instructional certification. There are several questions in this section. The overarching focus of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program is to fund grantees that prepare underrepresented populations to successfully transition into a dual registered apprenticeship program, or a RAP, in the construction and building trades. Effective grantees will create pathways and manage the transition from the pre-apprenticeship program into a RAP. As a result, Illinois Works funding and programming must stay within the scope of this goal. So it's important to note that while some workforce development programs, the goal is aimed at having participants complete the instruction, Illinois Works is different. The goal has not yet been accomplished unless the participant transitions to a DOL registered apprenticeship program or a construction or building trade employment. Now, there are some secondary transitions. We will not go into that now. If you want more information on those pieces, you can refer to the 2026 grantee manual, which has been downloaded to the chat. But I also recommend if that language does not sound familiar to you, primary transition or secondary transmission, you may want to go back and revisit the recordings for the grantee manual 2 and grantee manual 3 onboarding webinars. The pre-apprenticeship curriculum must offer a minimum of 138 hours of instruction, not to exceed 300 hours of instruction unless specifically approved by your Illinois Works programmatic grant manager. So the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship certification requires a construction certification, so trades, future MC3, NCCER, ICCB, or you can, if there's another building trades or construction curriculum that you prefer, you can get special permission from your pre-apprenticeship grant, programmatic grant manager to use that curriculum in lieu of MCC3, ICCB, or NCCER. OSHA 10 construction, and I want to be clear here, not OSHA 30 and not OSHA general. OSHA 10 construction. One of the other OSHA certification offerings will not allow your participants to finish the program. It must be this one. First aid CPR. That's typically American Red Cross, or I think the American Heart Association may offer a certification program. And then other nationally recognized certifications if needed. You have to offer soft skills based on the Illinois Essential Employability Skills Framework. So you have to have 32 to 40 hours of instruction on employability skills. We've recently added to employability skills that you have to do harassment prevention, diversity, and inclusion in construction. Okay. You have to provide test-taking skills, 4 hours of instruction, and then you have to have work-based or job site learning, and 10 to 50 hours are required. The ability to deliver this training requires specific instructor certifications and site designations. More information about this is on page 110 in your 2026 grantee manual. You can now join me in answering the first set of questions. Now, as we go through these, if you instinctively know the answer, please go ahead and respond. We encourage you not to overthink this. Most of you, those that are in this room, are administrators, so you have, or program managers, and so you have some familiarity with where your program is to date. So go ahead and answer them, but I do want to recognize that there will be some questions here that may require you to consult with other members of your team. For example, we're going to go over budgeting and cash flow. So in that section, you may decide, I need to talk to someone from my fiscal or accounting department. So for those that you have to skip, we just encourage you to mark those so that you can remember to speak to the relevant team members in your organization, then complete those questions before you send it back to us. Okay. Here we go. Instructional certification. Question number 1. Are there dedicated instructors certified to deliver OSHA 10 construction first aid CPR curriculum training? That is either a yes or no. Number 2, is your organization credentialed to deliver Trades Future, NCCER, ICCB, or other curricula that has been approved by your Illinois Works programmatic grant manager? Number 3, is your organization planning to use NCCER Career Safe OSHA 10-hour construction curriculum? And of course, if you do not have NCCER, then this is automatically a no for you. Does your organization have an internal dedicated role as liaison for their respective accrediting body? I want to put a caveat here. A lot of organizations contract out or have a partnership with someone or a different organization to do their NCCER or MC3 or ICCB instruction. And as a result, that person is oftentimes the default liaison with the accrediting body. We are encouraging that there is someone from your organization that is a full-time permanent staff person that serves as the liaison for your construction and buildings trade sort of credentialing body. So if that person is someone that you're contracting with, they are not actually an employee of an organization, then you want to put here no. The answer should be no. Okay. Does your team have the necessary partnerships to deliver the required training services? Number 6, does your organization have a dedicated instructor to teach the 40-hour requirement for construction math? 7, does your organization have an instructor training schedule for your cohort? And that training schedule should have what's being, the content being delivered, the duration of time, the day it's being delivered, who's delivering it. Do you have a comprehensive schedule yet? Number 8, does your organization have access to one of the certifying bodies for construction or trades online system for student digital testing, assessment, record management, and performance evaluations? Do you have access to the approved systems? And we want to add a caveat to this. That means that you also have some type of computer or laptops or technology lab available for your students. Number 9, does your organization have a process to place in place to track program completions and remediations? So remediations would be if they missed instructional hours, if they did not score the appropriate required percentage on a test. Do you have a process in place for program completions and to respond to remediations? Number 10, does your program have the tools required for the Trades Future MC3, NCCER, Core, or ICCB, or other approved curriculum? Does your program have a classroom and work lab setup? Number 11, go ahead and just draw a line through number 11. That question is being removed from the questionnaire. Number 12, does your organization adhere to the PPE policy of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program? Number 13, does your organization have a strategy in place to uphold the Illinois Works core values, diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging? Are all of your organizational needs met regarding training delivery? That's number 14. And while you are taking a moment to respond to those, I will ask, are there any questions about this section in the chat?
Yes, there is one question from Melissa Brown, and they're asking, is yes an acceptable answer if we are in process but not completed?
Thank you for that question. The questionnaire is for this moment in time. So the answer to that would be no, but you are free to add a comment to let us know that this is something that's in progress. So thank you for that. Any other questions, Olivia?
Yes, one just popped up from William, and they're asking, where can I find the PPE policy in the grantee manual, if you know offhand?
I do not know where it is offhand, but I do know that it is in the appendix. So if you scroll down to the start of the appendix, it will actually list all of the templates, exhibits, and examples that we have available. So to kind of expedite your ability to locate it, so in the table of contents, they're all hyperlinked. Go to appendix, click on appendix, and it will hyperlink you down to the appendix section. And then you can take a look there through the templates, exhibits, and examples, and it will tell you where you can find that particular exhibit. Any other questions?
William says thank you, and that is all of the questions in the chat as of now.
All right, you're welcome. The next, and Olivia, I know you are tracking time, so I will not stop talking. If we hit the moment where we need a break, please just nudge me. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. So the next section is marketing, outreach, and recruitment. Outreach and recruitment are both critical elements for a grantee's success. It is essential that grantees can articulate not only the program requirements and curriculum, but also the opportunity their programs offer. For many potential participants, this may be the first time they have ever heard about a pre-apprenticeship training, and they may not fully understand the benefits of a construction or building trades career path. So through your materials and communicated messages, you will have an opportunity to highlight the goals, program components, and the core values of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Your outreach and recruitment activities should emphasize the goals of diversifying the construction trades and promoting an environment of collaboration, innovation, and resilience where participants' unique experiences and backgrounds will be valued. Additionally, outreach and recruitment materials should highlight the needs of potential participants and how the grantees' programs will help them overcome their barriers. We are now going to answer questions 15 through 18. And if you are consulting your 2026 grantee manual, this should start on page 66. Okay, marketing, outreach, and recruitment questions. Number 15, does your organization have a comprehensive marketing plan? Now, I know that you all were required to submit a marketing plan during your application process. So there should be some draft available, but if you are clear that there is something, but it is not comprehensive, go ahead and mark that no. The next one is number 16. Does your organization's marketing plan, now this is important, have a minimum of 7 outreach and recruitment touch points? What is a touch point? A touch is an opportunity to connect with your target audience. For example, 7 touch points may include an informational. Let me go back one. It may include marketing on Instagram. And then after the marketing on Instagram, anyone who acknowledges that they are interested, you may then invite them to an informational. That would be your second touch point. And then for those who were invited to the informational, you may send a reminder email before the informational, reminding them to attend. That's a third touch point. After the informational, you may send everyone a thank you for attending and reminding them that they are welcome to apply. That will be a fourth touch point. You may have your outreach and recruitment staff person personally call them, ask them what they thought about the information. If they had any additional questions, that would be a sixth touch point. So a touch point is every opportunity that you maximize to connect with your target audience. Does your marketing plan have 7 touch points? Number 17, does your organization have partners that will help recruit participants? One of the strongest partnerships that I've seen is with the high schools. So partnering with the guidance counselors in the same way that they invite colleges to come in and talk to students for recruitment. There are some organizations that partner with the high schools to also invite them in to come and talk about career opportunities in that same way. Number 18, are all other needs met regarding marketing and recruitment? Last question for this section. Olivia, are there any questions?
There are currently no questions within the chat.
Okay. We'll keep going. The next one is application. The Illinois Works participant application process carried out by the Outreach and Recruitment Coordinator, abbreviated OCR, is designed to enroll participants who are able and ready to make a career in construction or the building trades. The Illinois Works application process builds upon the pre-screen assessment conducted during the outreach and recruitment stage of the pre-apprenticeship life cycle. The first step is a formal application completed by the participant in partnership with a member of the intake staff. Once the grantee determines the applicant should move on in the process, the applicant then must participate in a standardized interview. This is important because these interviews are intended to be group interviews. a standard interview in which 2 grantee staff members participate in the interview and independently score the applicant's interview answers. Okay, if you're not familiar with this process, please consult the grantee manual. This is important. Based on the application and the interview, the grantee can then make an enrollment decision. This is in Section 5 of the 2026 Grantee Manual. We are now going to answer questions 19 through 24. Number 19. Does your organization have a clearly defined process for helping potential applicants matriculate through the application process, including pre-screening, application, interview, and the final decision letter? Number 20. Does your organization have a clear process for ensuring age and other eligibility requirements? For example, state of Illinois residents, high school diploma, GED, or HiSET, their actual age. That all of these are met during the application process and prior to entering the individual into the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Number 21. Does your organization have a process for gathering and updating additional demographic information, primary address, alternate phone number, social media contact information, gender at birth, preferred gender, military status, etc.? Number 22, does your organization have a clear utilization of best practices related to Illinois Works program enrollment? Number 23, does your organization adhere to cohort structure and size based on your work plan? That means that you currently have an approved work plan and that your cohort structure complies with that. If you do not have an approved work plan yet, then the answer to this one would be no. And then number 24 is, are all other needs met regarding the enrollment process? Olivia, are there any questions?
We are moving right along. There are no questions in the chat.
Okay. The next one is intake and wraparound services. And I want to make sure that as we are answering this next set of questions, that you are differentiating this between student support services. This is one of those spaces where some particularly new grantees have follow-up questions around the questionnaire. We have wraparound services, student support services, and transition services. This section is asking about intake and wraparound services. So the intake process is focused on the wraparound service assessment. It is an opportunity for intake staff to meet with participants one-on-one. During this meeting, the staff can assess participant needs, establish wraparound supports, and of course, start building rapport. It is important to remember that this meeting will likely be the first time program staff will interact with the participants, not as an applicant, but actually as an enrolled member of your program. Wraparound services and student support services are closely linked. However, they are different. Student support services are designed to eliminate academic barriers. Wraparound services are designed to eliminate non-academic barriers. These barriers can include, but may not be limited to, childcare, mental health counseling, transportation. So wraparound is non-academic. Like we just said, it could be food insecurity, childcare needs, mental health support. Student support services are academic supports. That could be the need for tutoring, a section that was missed. They didn't get the right number of hours to earn a particular certification. They're academic supports. This model of service leads to greater self-sufficiency as it challenges participants to think through their long-term service plans. Wraparound services are opt-in only. So in other programs, it is not uncommon for there to be an equality model. That means that everybody gets a transportation card. Everybody gets a grocery store gift card. Everybody gets a, that is not Illinois Works. For wraparound services, participants must opt into a particular service that they need, identified using the wraparound service assessment. And the reason why this model exists is because it does lead to greater self-sufficiency, as it challenges participants to think through their both not just short-term but long-term planning needs for services. All too often, programs provide a suite of supports for participants while in the program, but then when the program ends, the participant is left without any skills or knowledge of how to address those needs on their own. With the opt-in model, participants will meet with program staff one-on-one to establish the services that they need during the program, and then begin to do a long-term plan to address those needs once they matriculate out of the program. I am going to pause here. I've been holding questions until after we go through, after you've answered the questions, but I do want to make sure everyone understands the difference between wraparound services and student support services. Olivia, are there any questions in the chat?
There are currently no questions as of right now.
Okay, fantastic. All right. If there are additional questions, you can certainly reference the grantee manual, which has a section on wraparound services and student support services. I also recommend that you go back and revisit Grantee Manual Session 2, which takes a deep dive into these services. Question number 25. Has your organization identified a list of wraparound services necessary to best serve their target audience? Keeping in mind, we do have a list of allowable costs in the grantee manual. So your wraparound services at a minimum should include all of those things. As a note, if there is something in the grantee, if there's a service your participants need that is not in the grantee manual, you can connect with your Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program programmatic grant manager. They can approve additional needs that are not currently on the allowable cost list. And I will add another caveat to that. If it is something that is permissible, Dr. Uwano is generous when it comes to supporting your participants. If there is something that they need that is not on that list, do not hesitate to reach out to your programmatic grant manager. Dr. Uwano is very generous when it comes to assisting participants and doing really whatever is necessary to help them matriculate through the program and enroll in a WRAP or employment in the construction and building trades. Number 26, does your organization have a list of verified wraparound services partners? So if you do not offer it in-house, or you all would just like additional resources available, do you have partners evidenced by either a MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding, or a partnership agreement? That's number 26. Number 27, does your organization have internal and or external partner resources for each of the identified wraparound services? Again, there is that list of allowable costs. It is on, it's in section 6 of the 2026 grantee manual. Number 28, does your organization have a system in place to fully adhere to the Illinois Works attendance policy? I am not going to give you a dissertation on the attendance policy. What I'm going to say is, this is important. Whatever process you may have had in place outside of Illinois Works, it is not likely that that process will be sufficient for Illinois Works. We have a template in the appendix. While you are free to use your own tool, and if you do, you must get that approved by your programmatic grant manager, the template in the appendix is already approved. There is specific guidance relevant to this. There are things you can do and things you cannot do. If you omit this criteria, then your it can impact your ability to be reimbursed. That is really the bottom line, right? So if you do not adhere to this specific criteria, it can impact your ability to be reimbursed for your cohort. And there is also a job aid on how to complete this in the appendix. If you have any doubts or any questions relevant to the attendance and the attendance policy, please just mark no, and we can assist you with this. Number 29, is there a plan for tracking, paying, and reporting performance-based pay stipends? And number 30, are all other needs met regarding wraparound services? Olivia, any additional questions?
There are currently no questions within the chat.
Okay. And she has just gently nudged me discreetly that we need to take a break. Then let's do that. Let's take a 5-minute break. So you can stretch, get coffee. We're in the home stretch here. When we come back, we will do student support services. So let's take a 5-minute break and we will come back at 11:43. All right. I'm sorry, 10:43. So let's be back at 10:43. Okay, see you guys shortly. Okay, we are ready to start back. All right, I hope everyone has rejoined us. We just talked about the wraparound services. We are now going to address student support services. Okay, so student support services are defined as supports that address academic needs. So unlike wraparound services, most of the student support services are actually mandatory for participants based on either subpar performance or attendance below the expectations of the program. Participants may opt into wraparound services, but again, may wrapped into, that's correct, wraparound services. But for student support services, you can make these required, and some of them the program makes required. For example, you may require them to go to tutoring. If they are struggling in a particular section, you may require them to retake an assessment. If they fall below a certain score that is required, you can make them do makeup hours if they missed time. Okay, so wraparound services are opt-in, student support services required. We have a couple questions for student support services, 31 through 34. Number 31, has your organization identified the list of student support services necessary to best serve your target audience? And again, the list of allowable costs is in section 6 of the 2026 Grantee Manual. Are there any internal or external partners or resources that you may need for your identified student support services? For example, for your tutors, are you contracting with others to help provide that support? Does your organization have a list of verified student support service partners that's evidenced by either an MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding, or partner agreement? And then the last one, number 34 for this section, are all other needs met regarding student support services? I know I talked a lot about wraparound services and student support services before the break, but Olivia, are there any questions in the chat?
There are currently no questions in the chat.
Okay, we're making good progress. The next section is program completion and transitions. Okay, wraparound services, student support services, and then the last service is transition services. So we're going to talk about program completion and transitions. For most participants, program completion will mark the end of their instructional training and the beginning of their transition to a DOL registered apprenticeship program or employment in the construction of building trades. By this time, participants should have received several industry recognized certifications, including but not limited to their construction certification, OSHA 10 construction, first aid, CPR. And then, of course, there are the other required instructional hours, which ultimately will lead to an Illinois Works certificate. Transition services are an essential element of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program and involved arranging activities that expose participants to the construction industry and help them apply for RAP or employment in the building and construction trades. This can be achieved by involving participants in relevant industry events like career fairs or trade-related networking events, and preparing them for their application, testing, or other apprenticeship entry requirements. Once participants have successfully completed the instructional or training piece of the program, the transition service coordinator will begin transition services guided by a transition plan developed in partnership with the participant and based on the information collected on their career assessment. If those terms do not sound familiar to you, transition service coordinator, transition plan, career assessment, couple things. I want to encourage you to revisit the Grantee Manual Session 2 webinar. That recording is available on the partner guide. I don't know if someone can please drop the link to the Illinois Works partner guide there with our list of trainings so that You all can easily access the recording. We can make that available to you, but you can also reference the grantee manual, and this content should start on page 148. So this section will address questions number 35 through 31. Okay, question number 35. Has your organization cultivated relationships with and developed a comprehensive list of transition opportunities based on the needs of your target population and incoming cohort? Again, see transition services in Section 8 of the 2026 Grantee Manual to see those list of services. 36, has your organization incorporated the Illinois Works Career Assessment and Transition Plan into your internal processes? You can reference Exhibit 5 in the 2026 Grantee Manual for that question. Number 37, has your organization developed a program completion process aligning career assessment and transition goals with primary and secondary transitions? Again, Section 8, program completion, transition services, and follow-up will address primary and secondary transitions. If those terms are not familiar to you, you should mark no for this. Does your organization have a process in place to ensure that 75% of its graduates complete the participant satisfaction survey? This is connected to reimbursement. If you do not feel confident about this, please mark no. Does your organization have a process in place for transition verification? Again, Section 13 in your grantee manual. Number 40, does your staff have an understanding of the career service process? Okay. And then number 41, are all other needs met regarding transition services? Olivia, are there any questions in the chat?
There are currently no questions in the chat.
Okay. We will keep going. The next section is follow-up. So program follow-up is an essential part of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. There are many ways to stay in touch with your program participants on a routine basis, including sending out surveys, focus groups, phone calls, text messages, social medias, email check-ins. I know there were some organizations that actually have like group chats with their graduates, and every time someone graduates or a cohort graduates, they add them to that group chat, and they just serve as like a support group where they encourage one another, motivate one another. When someone gets a new job, they share it, everybody congratulates them, or if someone gets into a pre-apprenticeship program, an apprenticeship program, they all give them praise and affirmation. So there's so many ways to stay in contact with your graduates. Each of these methods provides the opportunity to determine graduates' additional needs and to receive valuable feedback about the services that were provided. But more importantly, equally important, to collect key data relevant to verifying processes and outcomes. As a part of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, transition service coordinators are expected to conduct active follow-up with participants after transition from the program for 1 year after they graduate from the program. This includes completion of an active tracking questionnaire in the Illinois Works reporting system, as well as updates to the applicant tracking system. And I actually think we may have a new name for that. I want to, Victor, are you on the line? Okay, we'll come back. I think that actually now has a new name. And if Victor comes back on the line, we'll ask him because he'll have context about that. Carlita, can you drop the question in to Victor in Teams around the system and just let me know when he's back so he can speak to it?
Sure.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, beyond the first year, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program will utilize data matching to track participants long-term. And there's information in the 2026 Grantee Manual on page 160. And so there are just 3 questions in this section, 42 through 44. 42, has your organization incorporated the Illinois Works follow-up activities? See Section 8 in the 2026 Grantee Manual into your internal processes, both short-term and long-term. Is there a plan for responding to NIU's follow-up for your organization in conjunction with the longitudinal study? So as a heads up, while you are required to do active tracking for up to 1 year, NIU is accountable for a longitudinal study for Illinois Works, where they track students' outcomes over multiple years to see the long-term impact of Illinois Works via your programs. And so they will be contacting you for the longitudinal study. So there is an expectation of you staying connected to your grantees post that first year. And then for the last one, are all other needs met regarding follow-up services? Olivia, any questions in the chat?
There are currently no questions in the chat.
Okay. All right, just drop me a note if we can get Victor available. We might not. He may have had another commitment halfway through this, but if so, it'll be helpful. Okay.
He has another commitment. He's dropped from the line.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Carly, if you can find the information about career services and the name of the actual tracking system and drop that in the chat, that'd be great.
Sure.
Okay. So IWRS data entry. That is the next section. The Office of Illinois Works, in partnership with SIU, Center for Workforce Development, developed the Illinois Works Reporting System, also known as IWRS. By show of hands, who attended the Illinois Works Administrators training for IWRS 1? It was a webinar. Anyone in the room participate? Great, I see a few hands going up. Participate in the IWRS 1. It was the administrators webinar. Okay, awesome. We've got a few here. How many of you attended the in-person session in DeKalb, IWRS 2, 3, and 4? Okay, a few more hands. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's go through these questions. Number 45, does your organization have a process in place for data quality management? We actually talked a little bit about data quality management during our first in-person onboarding session back in January in Naperville. So you all were introduced to data quality management during that. Number 46, does your organization have a plan for the timely entry of your program's data into IWRS? This would include who's doing it, the frequency of it, and for more information, see Section 10, 2026 Grantee Manual. I want to be very clear. If it's not an IWRS, it did not happen. You cannot send us a spreadsheet. You cannot send us a testimonial. You cannot send us some other data management application printout as evidence. Your reimbursement is tied to the data entered into the reporting system. And if it is not in the reporting system, it did not happen. So I hope you can make the tie between entering accurate and timely data into IWRS and reimbursement. Okay. Number 48, has your organization developed a comprehensive data entry process for reporting PFR, PPR requirements? Are all other needs met regarding IWRS? Any questions in the chat?
Gia, you should have the career pathways information.
Okay, fantastic. Is it in the chat for participants?
It's for you, but I can submit it into the chat.
Yes, we need them to have it.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so that is a relevant reporting system. I hear someone. Is there a question?
There are currently no questions in the chat.
Okay, all right, Shiva, you may also want to check to see if maybe someone's unmuted. It could just be one of us. It has some, there's some conversation in the background. Okay. All right. The next section is professional development. That's us. Yay. All right. Grantees must plan to participate in professional development and technical assistance. Professional development is a culmination of tools, techniques, and strategies that impact knowledge, skills, behaviors, and attitudes of grantees with the goal of improving their performance and enabling them to successfully implement the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship programs, its policies and procedures, and its technology applications includes with PD includes large group structures, webinars. We have a learning management system. So there are a plethora of tools that we use in order to provide professional development. There are coaching services. Carlita talked about all of these at the beginning of the program, but we have communities of practice. We have a learning management system that will allow for some self-directed instruction, which we are in the process of developing right now. We have these webinars, we have in-person sessions, we have the regional meeting coming up. In May, we have our annual conference. In October, all of these, we have Toolbox Tuesdays. All of these tools are a part of professional development. In addition, you are also encouraged to do any specific or tailored professional development with your team. We are now going, so section 9 in the grantee manual covers professional development, and we're now going to answer questions 50 through 53. Number 50, has your organization developed a professional development plan for each program staff person, including the Illinois Works required training? So do you have a plan for each role in your program? Wraparound service coordinator, outreach and recruitment coordinator, data entry coordinator, transition service coordinator, and then all of the professional development opportunities you are expecting them to engage with, those that are relevant or offered by Illinois Works, and then those that perhaps are not offered by Illinois Works. Some examples of what those could be are available in section 9 of the grantee manual. There is also template number 20 in the appendix that provides a template for your professional development plan. Number 51, is there a plan or schedule for ongoing Illinois Works staff collaboration and team building? Number 52, does your organization's staff participate in mandatory professional development events along with tracking their attendance? So program administrators and program managers are ensuring their staff attendance in these programs. And then number 53, are all other needs met regarding professional development? I want to give you a heads up. Every now and then I get an email from a program administrator or a program manager asking if their staff has attended the trainings. Please send those to the GSUG's Gmail account. And that is where and how I can respond. Just as an FYI. Okay. Any questions about professional development in the chat, Olivia?
There are currently no questions in the chat.
Okay. Okay, business development questions, board development. So coaching is available specific to Illinois Works, but it's also available to organization development as a whole. A strong program outside of a strong organization still does not create a win for you as a grantee. So several of the next sections are really about organization development. So nonprofit community-based organizations are mandated to have a functional board as a requirement of their tax status. So 501c3, your board should help steer the organization towards a sustainable future by adopting ethical and legal guidance, financial management policies, as well as by making sure the nonprofit has adequate resources to advance its mission and vision. And if you are a grantee, then Illinois Works program should support your organization's mission and vision. There are a few questions, number 54 through 58. Number 54, has your organization developed a board of directors? 55, is the board engaged and knowledgeable about the Illinois Works programming and grantee requirements? 56, has your organization procure the necessary licenses, permits, and rental agreements required for business startup, particularly those relevant to, in general, but also those relevant to Illinois Works. For example, do you have the space, a rental agreement with the space where you're offering the program that actually has the construction lab that's required, right? Number 57, does your organization have a clear mission and vision that aligns with the core values of Illinois Works? Core values are available in section 2 of the grantee manual. Number 58, are all other needs met regarding board development? Olivia, any questions in the chat regarding board development?
There are no questions in the chat right now.
Okay, we are over the hump. And really now on the back end of this assessment, strategic staffing and organizational capacity. To effectively carry out all the program requirements, grantees must have dedicated staff. Staff roles are defined as a list of responsibilities attributed to particular staff members. This information is available in the grantee manual. Illinois Works does identify specific roles they require your organization to have to support your Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program: wraparound service coordinator, transition service coordinator, data entry coordinator, student support service coordinator, program manager and/or administrator, outreach and recruitment coordinator, and instructors, trainers, and I might be forgetting something, but that is available in your grantee manual. So let's answer questions 59 through 63. Number 59, does your organization have a comprehensive hiring and staffing plan that includes all of the Illinois Works required roles? Number 60, are policies and procedures in place to ensure staff have the required skills set for the roles they are hired to perform? I will pause there. Your programmatic grant manager will, as well as your coach, if you are receiving coaching, will look to see that there is alignment between the role that someone has been given and their credentials and ability to support that that role, and that is critical. There are times when one person is the outreach and recruitment coordinator, student support service coordinator, transition service coordinator, those programs, in our experience, can experience challenges that organizations who are fully and appropriately staffed don't experience. Okay, number 61, is the organization's current capacity sufficient to execute the Illinois Works grant expectations? Number 62, do staff performance expectations align with the Illinois Works grant activities? And number 63, are all other needs met regarding staffing and organizational capacity? Olivia, any questions about strategic staffing and organizational capacity?
There are no questions as of now in the chat.
All right. Home stretch, professional communication and presentation skills. Communication is a cornerstone for effective team collaboration and cooperation. Ultimately, effective workplace communication will drive better results at the individual, team, and organizational level. If you have effective presentation skills, this means you are effective at communicating your message to a group by speaking clearly and getting your ideas and messages across. There will be less miscommunication in the workplace. Question 64 through 67. I do want to share that the Illinois Works coaches are not, and Carlita mentioned this earlier, but I want to reinforce this, are not state of Illinois employees. We are consultants through Northern Illinois University, and all the coaches are doctorate prepared and credentialed executive and organizational coaches. Okay. A lot of times, some of the things that people will request support for is being able to manage up, being able to manage down, the relationship, effective relationships with both their programmatic grant manager, as well as their financial grant manager. So a lot of this, this support that can be provided is how to best manage your organizational relationships, either within your organization or with your grants or with the grant staff persons. Number 64 through 67. Does your Illinois Work staff currently have the necessary professional communication and presentation skills? Number 65. Does your organization have a process in place that provides guidance for delivering feedback, engaging in difficult conversations both internally and externally? Feedback is that coaching typically surrounds around giving feedback, how to give effective feedback, and how to receive feedback, and differentiating feedback from criticism. Okay. Number 66, is there a plan for media and/or public relations communications, including a designated individual for interviews and press releases? This is really important. Number 67, are all other needs met regarding communication or presentation skills, media interviews, conference presentations, etc.? Olivia, any questions in the chat around professional communication or presentation skills?
There are currently no questions in the chat as of now.
All right. Let's talk about budgeting, cash flow, and billing. A cash flow budget estimates your business's cash flow over a specific period of time. You can use the information to ensure you have enough cash flow on hand to maintain your regular operations over a particular time frame. Illinois Works is and please hear me on this. I know you all know this, but I just want to put an emphasis on this. Illinois Works is a performance-based payment model. It is important that your cash flow budgeting accommodates this particular structure, this particular model. Reimbursement means you must perform, then you are reimbursed. So the way this works is you perform, that data is entered into IWRS accurately. Then you receive your compliance report that looks at your performance, as well as the program. So your programmatic grant manager will produce your compliance report. Your financial grant manager will look at your PPR, PFR, and then your reimbursement is established. You can hear how many steps are in that process. You have to be able to fund your program until your first reimbursement, which may not come until after you've functioned in the program for 90 days or more, quite frankly. So cash flow, budgeting, and billing are cornerstones for a successful Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program. Of all of these sections, there's like an exclamation mark behind this. Okay. We're going to go through questions number 68 through 73. Does your program have a comprehensive Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program budget with no anticipated challenges? So this is an official approved budget by your financial grant manager. Does your program have the necessary cash flow between now and the first Illinois Works reimbursement? Do not expect your first reimbursement before 90 days. So we'd rather under promise, over deliver. As a general principle, a minimum of 90 days of operating costs before you can expect your first reimbursement. Is there a dedicated staff member who will retain receipts and submit them for reimbursement in compliance with the State of Illinois Grant Reporting System, that is GATA? Section 11 in the grantee manual talks about finances, records, and reports. So to take a deep dive into that content, see Section 11 in your grantee manual. In addition, if this does not sound familiar, please revisit 2026 Grantee Manual 3 webinar. Grantee Manual 3 webinar takes a deep dive into this issue. Does your organization know how to manage a performance-based pay model? We talked about this during the January in-person onboarding session in Naperville, but that was not recorded. But you may want to reflect. If you were there, you received some context around this. In addition, Grantee Manual Session 3 and Section 11 in your grantee manual. Number 72, does your organization's appropriate staff understand allowable expenses? I can tell you in my personal experience with coaching, most staff do not understand how their specific performance impacts your reimbursement. As a result, outreach and recruitment staff do not understand how enrollment, how each person that is actually enrolled in your program in compliance with your work plan impacts the specific dollar amount that you are reimbursed for enrollment. Most instructors do not know how their ability to accurately comply with Illinois Works attendance forms and track certifications in the IWRS system complies with completion and how you are reimbursed. And that is the same for most transition service coordinators. They do not understand how each transition correlates with a specific dollar amount relevant to reimbursement. And when they do understand that, that is quite an aha moment for them and how they respond to their work expectations. Does your organization's appropriate staff understand this? Do they understand allowable costs relevant to wraparound services? Do they understand allowable costs relevant to student support services? Do they understand allowable costs relevant to transition services? 73, are all other needs met regarding budgeting, cash flow, and/or billing? Olivia, any questions in the chat?
There is one question from William, but this question is referring back to presentation skills and professional communication. So he is asking about question 67. Should question 67 say yes, no additional follow-up necessary, rather than yes, coaching is needed?
I would say answer the question as it is posed, and we will revisit that to see if there are any updates needed at a future time. So if are all other needs met regarding communication skills? So if they're all met, say yes. If they're not all met, say no. But I am marking that to revisit to make sure that our yes, no corresponds correctly to the question. Thank you for that.
That is
Yeah,
the only question in the chat right now.
got it. Okay. Next section, program development. Grantees are accountable for program management and continuous improvement. Program management is the process of directing and overseeing two or more related activities that have the same aim with the goal of delivering effective services, compliance with program expectations, improving performance, and ensuring outcomes are met. Effective program management often includes a continuous improvement process. Continuous program improvement is the ongoing assessment of performance outcomes with the goal of identifying opportunities for incremental and innovative enhancements. So keeping in mind the continuous program improvement is not only about improving in areas where you are underperforming, but it's also about taking a really good program and considering how you can make it even better. So Illinois Works requires grantees to implement a continuous improvement process to support the creation and actualization of their continuous improvement plan. Continuous and program improvement models are designed to bring gradual and/or innovative ongoing improvements to services, delivery processes through program performance, measuring outcomes, benchmarking against program goals, brainstorming opportunities for improvement, and implementing new strategies. Section 12 in the grantee manual actually walks through recommended techniques, tools, processes for things, implementing new strategies, brainstorming. So we have instructions in there regarding that. Questions number 74 through 79. 74. Does your organization have a plan for incorporating Illinois Works into your current program business model? 75. Has your organization established a plan for program development and implementation? 76. Does the organization have a continuous improvement plan? 77. Are all of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program staff aware of the performance benchmark in place to achieve program outcomes? 78, is there a plan for program evaluation? 79, are all other needs met regarding program development? Any questions in the chat regarding program development or program improvement?
There are currently no questions in the chat.
Okay. The next section is maximizing your grant manager relationship. This is relevant to your programmatic grant manager as well as your financial grant manager. Grant management is a partnership. To be successful, grantees and their grant managers must work together to achieve joint goals. Communication between grantees and their grant managers is a critical part of effectively implementing your Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program. Your relationship with your grant manager really is a central component of your grant success. There are just a couple of questions here relevant to this, but they are important. Number 80, has your organization cultivated a healthy relationship with the Illinois Works team, including both your programmatic and your financial grant manager? And I'll just be honest, depending on your coach, these are our colleagues. We know them. I have had grantees ask, what can I do how can I best partner with, how can I best get my needs met with this particular grant manager? Okay. You want that relationship to be healthy and positive. Your grant manager is invested in your success. So having that relationship adversarial, like there's no win-win, right? Having that they're going to do whatever they can to support you no matter what. But cultivating a healthy relationship creates a win-win for both you and for them. Number 81, does your organization need support with effectively communicating with your grant manager and maximizing their support to strengthen your program? Number 82, are all other needs met regarding your grant manager relationship? Are there any questions in the chat?
There are currently, oh, yes, William just asked one, and William is asking about question 81.
Mm-hmm.
The answer options seem backwards. It says no coaching needed, yes, no additional follow-up.
Okay, so for this one as well, thank you. I will mark this one. So you want to answer the question as it is framed. Does your organization need support? So yes, if you do, no, if you do not. Okay. The last section, avoiding unauthorized or unethical pitfalls. Okay. Unethical pitfalls are common traps that should be avoided. There are a number of common unethical pitfalls that should be avoided. If you have not done so, let's answer these questions together. We have number 83 through 86. Number 83, is there a strategy in place to avoid unauthorized or unethical pitfalls? 84, is there a process for maintaining and managing participants' records, ensuring appropriate confidentiality? 85, does your organization have a state-approved auditor? This is another one that needs a little star to perform your mandated audit. And your mandated audit depends on several criteria, including the size of your organization relevant to your operating cost, not just for the program, but for your organization. Information regarding audit requirements are available in section 14. If so, is there a strategy in place to prepare the audit in a timely manner? There are a lot of caveats where the audit is concerned. Your auditor has to have certain credentials. You have to have the specific audit relevant to very specific criteria based on your organization. Most of the auditors that are necessary with the appropriate credentials, they're booked. They get booked early. So, understanding the timing for which you need to make sure you have your auditor identified and you are on their books to do their audit, which, I encourage 90 days in advance. Like, do not wait a month before it's due. It will be difficult to find someone who has the appropriate credentials. 86, are all other needs met regarding ethics? Are there any questions in the chat?
Yes, Melissa just asked, we have used the same auditor on a different DCEO grant in past years. Can I consider them approved or is there a list I can check?
Okay, I would not automatically consider them approved. What you can do, Melissa, is mark this here as no, and then we can follow up with you specifically regarding that. It is possible, but without having specific information, I don't want to answer that without looking specifically at your organization structure and operating cost or budget and the specific criteria. But it may be.
There is one more that Marlene just asked, and they're asking, can you drop all the star items in the chat? So essentially, those ones that you kind of were honing in on a little asterisk next to, do you happen to remember which ones were which?
Can I tell you, those were not, those asterisks are not in our curriculum here. They're just in my head based on my experience with coaching in Illinois Works. So to be honest with you, no, I'm so sorry. I will tell you this though. While I cannot, because there is nothing here that says this is an asterisk point, it was just my gut response around some of those questions. This is being recorded, and I will be uploading recordings or submitting recordings to be uploaded to the Illinois Works Partner Guide on Friday, which means that the trainings that we held this week, so the one on Tuesday and the one being held right now, should be available to you by early next week, Monday or Tuesday. They are typically pretty quick with getting those uploaded. So I apologize. I don't recall which ones those were, but the recording will be available to you on the partner guide early next week. And so Olivia, can we just drop the link to the partner guide back into the chat again, just so it'll be handy for participants?
Sure thing. I'll drop that in the chat. Other than that, that is all of the questions that are in the chat right now.
Okay, so I know this was a haul to get through all of those. Thank you so much for hanging in there and participating in your questions and your comments. We appreciate that. We appreciate you. And I'm going to hand this back over to Dr. Alston.
Thank you, Dr. Suggs. And you did a great job getting us through all 86 of those items. But now we're going to move into our feedback session and get some information from you. So we're going to start our first question, and that is, please share your views on this training by rating the following statements from 1 being the lowest to 10 being the highest. To what extent did it meet your expectations? How likely are you to attend a similar event in the future? How likely are you to recommend this training to others? So we have about 45 people in the voting queue. So we're looking for a good representation of your responses today. Okay, looks like we got some 7.8s, some 1s, some 2s. We have a variety of scores here, but they're coming in. Keep them coming. Thank you for sharing your comments here, your voting here. All right, just a few seconds more and then we'll move on to the next one. I want to give people a chance to respond. Sometimes it takes a minute to get connected to the Mentimeter. All right. All right, thank you. Shiva, you can go ahead and move on to the next slide. The course was relevant to what I wanted to learn about this subject matter. from strongly disagree to strongly agree, and these will shift around a little bit as the answers come in, so don't get nervous. Just go ahead and choose the one you believe is the right answer for you. All right, so we got a variety here. They're still coming in. I see about 10 people have responded so far. We have a lot of people on this call, so I'm going to give you a chance to respond so we can have a really robust assessment of our training for today. Okay, very good. Thank you so much for contributing. Next slide, please. I plan to apply what I learned today. So let's see what those responses look like. Great. Great. Is there anyone else who would like to add their vote to this question? I see there's about 16 or 17 people who have given their answers. Thank you for contributing. We have quite a few people on this call that I'd love to hear from. So please go ahead and put your answer in so we can have a really good representation. All right. Next slide, please. What improvements might you recommend? And here's a good question we always like to ask, because there may be some things that you come up with that we didn't think about that might improve the quality of how we do this webinar. So you'll have an opportunity today to kind of put that information into the Mentimeter. So far, none today, not NA. All right. I have one here. Let's see. It says, I would recommend dividing the training for experienced programs versus new start-up programs. Thank you for that. The presentation was good overall. Proofread the templates more because it seems to have many errors. We'll take that into consideration. Thank you for that. Please take prior feedback into consideration. Divide the training for new versus experienced. None, but the new programs need more help. Provide questions early on so we can have questions ready to ask. Revising the assessment regarding some of the errors shared. This was a waste of time not to have this webinar again or have it in optional attendance. I can read and do not need. Okay, we understand. Thank you. I have been grantee for a few years. Your team is doing an amazing job improving communication and delivery of the training information. Thank you for that. And all the information was needed. Thank you so much for your contribution. Is there anyone else who'd like to add to before we move on to the next slide? Helpful information. Very good. Thank you all. And Shiva, can you move on to the next slide, please? What did you find effective? If we make changes, what would you recommend we keep? Okay, we have one response that says walking through the areas that previous grantees found confusing. That's a good comment. Thank you for that. I appreciate the thoroughness of the answers. The agenda was helpful. It was helpful to receive additional information regarding the questions, updates. Have this webinar be optional for attendance. Have the webinar open just for questions. Stopping and checking in if there were any questions. And NA, are there any other comments for this question? Okay, we have a few more that just came in. Keep in-person sessions for the initial onboarding and the additional trainings on WebEx. I like the information Jig gave about going through the questions in each section. I appreciate the focus on demystifying the process. Although it seems simple, it can be confusing. Thank you for that. I appreciate you giving details in certain questions and not reading a question directly on only. Keep this training shorter. We attend a lot of these meetings and this one felt like it was way too long. All right, thank you. Identifying location in the manual where the additional information can be found. Keep that. There should be a written guide clarifying each question. It's an interesting one. Thank you. The time was great. It was not too long. Appreciate that. All right. Anything else? Please shorten sessions. All right. Well, thank you all. And we'll move on to our next slide. If there's one more. Yes. Is there anything else about the course you think we should know? Anything other that we should know? NA? Okay, we got one response. Anyone else want to care to give another response to that question? All right. I'll give you a few more seconds here. Not at this time. Appreciate your time and presentation. No, thank you for this session. Not that I can think of. Thank you for your time today. We appreciate all of your feedback for this session, and we will take that feedback into consideration when planning for our future presentations. I want to thank you all for participating today, and I hope that this information was useful. I see a few more came in. This information was relevant and necessary. I felt this should be for new grantees only. And thank you for the helpful information. I booked this meeting for 3 hours and we are finishing up in 2 hours. We are not made of time. I'm sorry, I can't make out all of that. Respect our time. Thank you for the opportunity to provide feedback. All right. Thank you all. I wish you all a wonderful weekend and we'll see you in our next webinar. Bye-bye.